Have you ever noticed that the nicer you are, the more exhausted you feel? You say yes when you want to say no. You apologize when you didn't do anything wrong. You smile when something inside you feels off. And somehow, despite all your effort to be kind, considerate, easy to be around, you still feel misunderstood. There's a quiet frustration that builds, a subtle resentment you don't talk about. Because nice people aren't supposed to feel resentful, right? You tell yourself you're just being mature. You tell yourself you're just choosing peace. But deep down, you wonder why people keep crossing your boundaries. Why they assume you'll handle everything. Why they vent to you, but never really show up for you. Why you're always the safe one, but never the chosen one. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Being too nice isn't always kindness. Sometimes it's fear wearing a friendly mask. And once you understand the dark psychology behind it, you'll never look at your own behavior the same way again. Because this isn't about morality, it's about survival wiring. When you were younger, your nervous system learned something powerful. It learned that approval equals safety, that conflict equals danger. So your brain adapted. The human brain is constantly scanning for threat. The amygdala, your emotional alarm system, doesn't just react to physical danger. It reacts to social rejection, disapproval, raised voices, cold tones. To your nervous system, being excluded from the group once meant death. So if at any point in your life you learned that love was conditional, that affection disappeared when you disappointed someone, that tension in the room meant something bad was about to happen,
your system made a decision. Be agreeable. Be pleasant. Don't rock the boat. And it worked. You avoided punishment. You kept relationships stable. You became the easy one. But here's where it gets darker. Over time, being nice stopped being a choice and became your identity. You don't even check what you want anymore. You scan the room instead. Who needs something? Who's upset? Who might withdraw if I say this? You call it empathy, but sometimes it's hypervigilance. Your nervous system is on standby, not relaxed, not grounded, just managing. And here's the part most people don't talk about. When you suppress your own needs long enough, they don't disappear. They go underground. They turn into subtle bitterness, into passive-aggressive comments, into feeling drained after interactions that looked perfectly fine on the surface. You start thinking, why am I always the one who gives more? But because you're nice, you don't say it out loud. You swallow it. This is where the validation loop begins. Every time you accommodate someone and they respond positively, your brain releases a small hit of dopamine. Approval feels good. It reassures your survival wiring. So you repeat the behavior, not because you consciously want to manipulate anyone, but because your nervous system is addicted to the relief of being liked. And slowly, without realizing it, you train people how to treat you. You teach them that your time is flexible, that your boundaries are negotiable, that your discomfort is tolerable.
You teach them that you'll stay, even when they show up inconsistently, even when they don't reciprocate, even when they subtly disrespect you. And here's something that might surprise you. Sometimes people don't respect excessive niceness because it doesn't feel honest. On a subconscious level, humans are wired to detect congruence. When your words say it's fine, but your micro-expressions say it's not, people feel the mismatch. And mismatch creates distrust. Understanding this can completely change the way you approach every relationship. Because real connection isn't built on politeness, it's built on truth. And before we go deeper, let me say something directly to you. If you haven't subscribed yet, you're missing insights most people will never know. This channel isn't about surface-level advice, it's about the psychological patterns running your life in the background. And once you see them, you can't unsee them. Now, let's go further. There's a hidden ego component to being too nice. That might sound harsh. Stay with me. When you constantly present yourself as the accommodating one, the selfless one, the emotionally intelligent one, there's an identity attached to that. You get to be the good person. And being the good person can become a shield. If you're always kind, then no one can accuse you of being selfish. If you're always patient, then no one can label you difficult.
But here's the psychological tension. If you never allow yourself to be seen as flawed, assertive, or even occasionally inconvenient, you never allow yourself to be fully human. You become a role, not a person. And roles are exhausting to maintain. Think about the times you wanted to say no, but said yes. Your body probably reacted first. A tightness in your chest, a subtle drop in your stomach. That was your nervous system signaling boundary violation, but your conditioning overrode it. Because somewhere along the way, you associated conflict with loss. Loss of love, loss of approval, loss of belonging. So you chose safety, immediate safety. But long term, you paid for it with self-respect. And self-respect is quiet. It doesn't scream when you betray it. It just slowly withdraws. That's why you can look successful, supportive, generous, and still feel oddly disconnected from yourself. Because you've been managing other people's emotions more than honoring your own. Here's another layer. People who are too nice often attract those who are comfortable taking. Not always consciously, but psychologically, opposites regulate each other. If you struggle with boundaries, someone else will unconsciously step into the space you leave open. It's not fate, it's pattern recognition. And every time the dynamic repeats, it reinforces your belief. This is just how relationships are for me. But what if it's not who you are? It's what you've been practicing. Because niceness without boundaries isn't kindness, it's self-abandonment. And self-abandonment feels noble in the short term. You get praise, you get appreciation, you get labeled so thoughtful. But internally, you feel unseen. Now, here's the shift. The goal isn't to become cold. It's not to swing to aggression or indifference. It's to integrate. To understand that conflict doesn't equal catastrophe, that someone being disappointed doesn't equal rejection, that your nervous system can survive tension. This is where growth begins. When you pause before automatically agreeing, when you feel the discomfort and don't immediately erase it, when you let someone sit with your no. At first, it will feel wrong. Your body may interpret it as danger. Your mind will create stories. They're going to think I'm selfish. They won't invite me next time. But notice something powerful. If a relationship collapses because you expressed a respectful boundary, was it stable to begin with? Real respect includes space for your autonomy. And here's the deeper psychological truth. When you stop over-functioning, you give other people the opportunity to step up. Sometimes they will, sometimes they won't. And that information is clarity. Clarity can sting, but it's cleaner than confusion. The more you understand your own wiring, the less you personalize other people's reactions. If someone pulls away because you stopped over-giving, that tells you something about what they valued, not about your worth. There's a quiet confidence that emerges when you realize you don't have to earn your place in every room. You don't have to preemptively smooth every tension. You don't have to be the emotional regulator for everyone around you. You're allowed to be inconvenient sometimes. You're allowed to disagree, to change your mind, to prioritize yourself without explanation. And ironically, when you stop being too nice, people often respect you more, because boundaries signal self-trust. Self-trust is attractive. It feels stable. This realization changes everything.
you begin to see that kindness is strongest when it's chosen, not compulsive. When you help because you want to, not because you're afraid of what happens if you don't. The dark psychology of being too nice isn't about blaming yourself. It's about recognizing the strategy your younger self created to survive and thanking it, but not letting it run your adult life. Because you don't need constant approval to be safe anymore. You don't need to dissolve yourself to keep connection. You can be warm and firm, compassionate and clear, generous and boundaried. That's not selfish. That's integrated. And when you reach that place, something remarkable happens. Your relationships feel lighter. Your yes feels genuine. Your no feels clean. You stop scanning every room for danger because you trust yourself to handle whatever response comes. That's real confidence. Not loud, not performative, just grounded. And once you experience that, you'll never want to go back to being too nice again. Because you'll realize something profound. You were never meant to shrink to be loved. You were meant to be whole.